back. This is the JR Wisdom channel, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me not do that, because this, y'all know it's another YouTuber that does that. I'm not trying to copy him. Anyway, welcome back. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I just want to make this video in reference to one that was recently done by one of my YouTube mentors, the great O'Shea Duke Jackson. And he touched on a topic I believe was done by Solo TV 84, I think. And I've done a video similar to this in the past, but I just wanted to cover it again, or go more in depth, or just, just talk briefly about it. Anyway, in reference to the whole coffee date situation, I'm going to be as simple as possible. That should be the only way, for the most part, as far as setting up a date. You should not have to spend money or shower a woman with money on the first date to get her attention or to impress her. Especially if you're really looking for something meaningful, even if you aren't, you can't. I'm a firm believer, just like you may have heard over and over, that it doesn't take a lot of money when you're first meeting someone. You're basically sitting down, having a one-on-one conversation, and you don't have to spend all this crazy amount of money, especially if this is supposed to be an equal scenario, which a lot of us, the way this society is set up, is that the man is supposed to pay for everything, and we're not supposed to look for anything in return. I mean, we just have to be realistic about this. But a coffee date, whether it be Starbucks or any other coffee shop, is perfectly fine. A lot of times there's no loud music. There's just you and her. You guys are sitting down, enjoying this beverage, talking, chatting, maybe have a bagel or something like that. And you're able to get to know each other in a somewhat intimate setting, I guess. Unlike a concert or a movie theater, things like that, where there's all this noise going on. It doesn't take a lot. It's public. The woman will more than likely feel safe. You're not spending a whole lot of money. A cup of coffee for her, or whatever, cappuccino, whatever it is, to get to know each other. At this point, this is just, as we know, this is an interview. That's what's going on. Everybody's going to send their representative forth at this point. And what I mean by representative is you're putting on, you may be putting on, not to say that you should, you may be putting on this facade, and a lot of times you don't get to know the real person until we're 90 days into the situationship, relationship, courting, whatever you want to call it. So the coffee date is ideal, and like I said, I've recommended that in the past. A lot of other YouTubers, and I don't call myself a dating coach or anything like that, but I am a fan of psychology and sociology and the way the mind works, and relationships, interpersonal relationships, things like that. I'm very interested in things like that, and within the past few years have gained quite a bit of experience. Not to say I have a lifetime of it, but to know that it doesn't take much. And as was hinted with O'Shea, if you watch this video, shout out to him. He speaks on some things. You don't have to spend $200 and $300, and it's not that you're guaranteed any sort of, first of all, romance, much less hearing from this woman again. Because if she's really into you, if she has a high level, or she has a high interest in you, it doesn't need all that. I believe Steve has said in the past that walking in the park, feeding ducks bread, a loaf of bread, and a loaf of bread is what, $2 or less, $1. It doesn't take much. You're really trying to get to know each other, and it doesn't take all that. It's just a bonding point. And maybe some of the simpler things, even the baddest chick out there, some of the simpler things, or as you want to call, thinking out of the box, but it's so simple, is something that will, genuinely impress her. You're not in a relationship, so you shouldn't really be doing relationship things, so to speak. A lot of guys who may not be used to a certain woman may feel like they have to, you know, spend all this money just to impress her when it might not even take that. And besides, what are you really looking for at the end of the day? As far as, are you just looking for some eye candy? You just looking for a sexual relationship? Are you really looking for something meaningful? You know what I mean? That's what we really need to be asking ourselves at this point. What is it that you really want? Should you really be spending all of your hard-earned money to impress someone that may not feel the same way? It may not be reciprocated. It may be just an unrequited desire at this point. I'll give you an example. And I talk about this in a lot of different videos. I think I've spoke about this before. There's certain things, even as far as you may be taking her out, showing her a good time, it may be cool. She may be getting a free meal. But a lot of things that you do, you can do things just because you spent all this money on this dinner. You can do things that may be turning her off during this dinner. It doesn't guarantee you anything, guarantee you anything to go on afterwards. None of that money spent guarantees that. I was getting my hair cut. I got a haircut the other day, as y'all can see. I'm trying to grow it out long here. Got the not really a fro hop. Maybe that's neither here nor there. Got my haircut the other day. So we sat back and I was, just chilling in the barber shop with the guy who cuts my hair, and there's a female barber there, and she was just talking. I was just listening to her talk, and we were just talking about relationships, and it's like clockwork. We started talking about dating and men and women and stuff like that, and I'm not really trying to stray off on a tangent here, but I'm just trying to talk about the situation. When you hear women talk about other men and they like say these things that they see that turns them off, because they'll tell you, hey, this is what this is what turns me off in this situation. They'll tell you. She actually broke that down at this point, and she said that this guy who approached her, basically she gave him her number, and she was saying that this guy was basically, she started talking to him and he seemed like a cool dude, but he started coming on strong and talking about wanting to give her a massage and sending her selfies and pictures of himself and doing all this extra stuff. So she felt like she was losing her freedom. And he took her out previously. I think he took her out to like a hookah lounge or something like that. They hung out, but he was just coming on too strong. And like the more she wasn't responding, the harder he was coming, which is what you shouldn't do. You know what I mean? And what he should have did, he talked himself out of getting what it was that he wanted. So what you should do, and just like she said, she just wanted to be cool. She said she felt like she was being smothered, which is what happens. And dude was over texting, over calling, doing all this other crazy stuff instead of just being cool. All you have to do is be cool. Same thing with these dates. You'll get farther with a woman with your mouthpiece than all these other gifts and trying to shower her and show off and things like that. Not to say that there aren't certain type of women, I'm not going to rule that out, but in general, once you get a woman's attention, you get that first date, you set it up there. She has to earn that to that point. You just coming out the gate with that, she's going to expect that from there on out. So you have to keep that in mind. I just want you guys to be prepared for things like that. It doesn't take that, especially if you're just jumping back into the game. And if she feels like you're being cheap or anything like that, then that's probably not the girl you really want to deal with. If that's the case, then you proposition her. If you're into that, be like, okay, what is this gonna cost? You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what we're talking about, because women can be disingenuous and very hypocritical when it comes to things like that, and they're calling you cheap and stuff like that. So if she's gonna call you cheap, ask her how much is it gonna cost. If you want to talk business, let's talk business, baby. And many of you might not like this video, but it is what it is. I'm just telling you how it is. If that's what we want to get. Do we want to get to know each other? Do we want to have a good time? Because that's what it's about. The date is about getting to know someone and showing her a good time. Coffee is perfectly fine. A drink is perfectly fine as long as you're not spending nothing crazy. Going out for a drink, so on and so forth, at a nice place. But it doesn't take $100, $200, $300 to an upscale place just to be ghosted at the end of the day, and you getting frustrated and upset and beating yourself up over it. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who checked out those other videos. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Y'all know I rarely do videos like this anymore. I'm trying to jump back into it. And if you guys, let me know your thoughts. If you've been on any dates where you basically splurged and it didn't go right, or if you got a story to tell, or if you want some advice, or if you want to do a coaching session with me, feel free to hit me up. All the information is in the description in the video below. Hit me up, check out my website. You can book it through there as well. And I look forward to hearing from you. Peace be upon you in the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.